Hey crafty friends, this is Ina Kessler with Saturday Extravaganza. Thank you very much for joining me, and today I'm creating another mini canvas for my wall of inspiration. So I have here a canvas. It's an old canvas that I previously painted in gold and never did anything with it. So never throw away old canvases, because you can cover them with gesso and they'll be as good as new. So I'm going to cover it with 2 coats of gesso because I don't need that gold color, and that would give me a fresh start for my canvas that I can work on and do whatever I want on it. So just cover it with the gesso, and of course dry it with your heat tool. This is how it looks after 2 coats of gesso. I'm going to cover the entire gesso with some old book pages. See how they are yellow on the sides and on the edges. I love that. And I'm going to use gel medium to glue them to my canvas. You can use Mod Podge as well, and I've worked with this many times before, so you probably already know how to use it, but a quick reminder. Gel medium as well as Mod Podge is a glue and a sealer, so that means that you can cover whatever it is you're gluing on the canvas, and that will seal it and create sort of a barrier between whatever it is that you glued and whatever other mediums you want to put on it. So you just put a coat of gel medium on the canvas, glue down your book page, and then seal it with another coat of gel medium or Mod Podge, whatever it is you're using. So I'm cutting my pages to pieces, and I'm covering the entire canvas around the corners as well, because I want the sides to look nice too. Don't want them to be white. So just keep on covering the canvas with your book pages. If you don't have book pages, you can also use some tissue paper or just plain pattern paper, or you can even color it with acrylic paints. But this, for me, I'm using all those lovely old yellow book pages. So once you are done with covering the entire canvas, just make sure it's thoroughly dry. And I have here a bandage. I bought all my bandages in the drugstore, and also you can use cheesecloth, but for this I want the bandage, and I'm just pulling it in all directions, just to fray it a little bit and make all the little strings pop out and make it look like a used bandage, but it's very clean, I promise you. And I'm using the gel medium to glue down the bandage to the canvas. I'm doing this because I want to create some texture on it, on my canvas, and this will give it a fabric kind of texture because of all the strings and the weave of the bandage. So I'm gonna use a little bit more, and again, just disorganize it. That's how I call it. Make it look old and used. And I'm just adding it to my canvas with a little bit of gel medium, and it doesn't have to be straight. The more folded and not straight the bandages on the canvas, the better, because then you'll get more texture. And I'm not even covering the entire bandage with a gel medium. I'm just using it to glue it down to my canvas. Now I want to use some more gesso, but this time for texture. So I'm using this palette knife with the gesso and just adding gesso onto my canvas, as I'm basically using it as a modeling paste, just adding some texture with ridges and things on my canvas. And of course at this point you have to make sure it's thoroughly dry, because if you want to color it or add paint and it won't dry, then everything will get jumbled up together and it will be gesso mixed with whatever it is you're adding. So make sure it's dry. So I have here some distress stains that I'm adding, and I'm using just a wet brush to spread them around the canvas. And I'm using mustard seed, and later on I'm going to use vintage photo. So I have the yellow and then the brown as another layer on my canvas. And now a little bit brown. The brown is very dark, so I'm using again a wet brush to just spread it around. And this is going to be my base color. Just gonna spray on the canvas a little bit later to add more color. So just keep on going until you like the result, until it's dark enough for you, or you can see how everything is blending, because the distress stain is kind of transparent. It's not an opaque color like acrylic paints or something, so you can still see all the gesso and the bandage and the book pages underneath. And that's what layering means. It means that you see all the layers, and that's what we want to go for here. And after you're happy with the distress stains, just spray a little bit. I'm just using the same colors to spray, namely brown and yellow, and this is how it looks after it's dry. I just want to lift the edges of the bandage a little bit to create the texture, in case some of it was accidentally glued to the surface of the canvas, because I want those strings to pop out a little bit. I have here some chipboard letters spelling the word fill, and I'm gonna color them with the vintage photo distress stain. But as I'm doing this, I think this is not dark enough, so once that's dry, I'm just gonna go over it with a black pen. I'm using the Posca pen. I really like this brand. They come in different width. This one is kind of thick. It says 0.9 to 1.3 millimeters. I have no idea how to translate it to inches. This is what it says on the pen, but basically it's like a marker, has a thick edge. They come in all kinds of edges, and I really like them. Anyways, I'm just going over the letters. I want them to be really visible. That's why I'm covering them with black. So sometimes when you work, you change your plans. I thought that the vintage photo will be dark enough, but apparently it wasn't, so I added another color on it. No problem, right? So I'm adding my letters onto my canvas. Where is that little dot for the eye? I don't like them to be straight, so as you can see, they're not in a straight line. So once that's dry, I can bring in all my little bottles and tubes and stuff. And some of them I have already added the little words that I wanted. And now I have to add all the words on the other bottles. And I'm using the edges of the old book pages that I used before, the torn edges, because I like I don't need to distress the paper because it's already distressed naturally. So I'm just going to write different words and add them to the bottles. And basically the idea is to fill your life with stuff that is written on the bottles. So I'm going to write different words on the little pieces of paper and just glue them down to the bottles. And I'm going to write fun, happiness, creativity, joy, peace, love, family, and laughter. I think those are really important things to fill your life with, right? So just write them with a black pen on the paper and cut and glue it down to the bottle. Now the bottles I got from, I have here an empty perfume bottle and some glass tubes that you can get from Tim Holtz, and I also have little tubes that I have no idea where I got, and I just created a small collection here and there of tubes. Actually, you can buy them in craft stores. They come in all kinds of sizes, so you can just play around with the sizes and see. And if you have those little small perfume bottles that you have used, then don't throw them away, because you never know what idea you might get of using them. So anyway, all my bottles are now ready, and I'm using E6000 to glue down the bottle to the canvas because we need a really strong glue. Tacky glue is not strong enough, as well as a hot glue. So this is industrial grade glue, and it's really strong once it's dry, so I recommend to use that one. So I've arranged all my bottles in a row, and now I'm gluing them down, and I love it where there are all kinds of sizes. This is so cute and amazing. I really like how this is turning out. This turns out better than I envisioned it in my head. So this is the canvas. It's all ready. I hope you enjoyed it. It's definitely going to be an amazing addition to my wall of inspiration, because this will definitely inspire me to fill my life with all those great words that are on the little bottles. And it was a really easy project that you can create, and of course you can create it in a larger scale if you want to. So I want to thank everyone for joining me. I hope you were inspired by this project. And by the way, if you create your own wall of inspiration, please share. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you all next time.